Hello everyone. So I hope you all are doing well. I'm receiving a lot of requests and I beg my forgiveness that I'm not able to cater to all your requests on time. But often when I get time, I do try and cover up with your request. Today I have received a very important actually question in fact, and this will be asked in your oral, and this is a very simple and important. I have tried and cover it today with full heart. Okay, so you can be here, and with the diagram you must have imagined and you must have recognized what I'm going to cover, and that is on the compressor valve overall procedure. Okay, we'll also discuss the leak test, and there was also a question, if we overlap the valve, means suction side we put the discharge valve and discharge side we put the suction valve. This was also a tricky question by the surveyor. So you can look at the part, different part, castle nut washer, there is split pin. All these terms we are going to use later on in the procedure. This is buffer plate, then we have spring plates, then we have damper plates, then we have valve plate. They have different functions. We are not going to see the constructional aspect of the valve. We are going to see overall procedure and the leak test. Then we have guide washer, we have center bolt, then we have valve seat, then we have locating pin or dowel pin. Okay, now when we talk about compressor valve, so I'm not able to pronounce this is this type of valve. What I say is automatic valves. Okay, Hoerberg, whatever it is, automatic valve. The suction and discharge valve, they look similar, okay, but there is a difference between suction and discharge valve. Uh, However, the direction of the operation and the spring stiffness differ. So what is the difference between suction side and discharge side of the valve is that the operation and the spring stiffness, there is a spring, I showed you in the diagram, that differs. The suction valve springs are of lower spring stiffness, okay, the spring constant, than the discharge one, and they must never be mixed up. Okay, so you know the difference what is there. They look similar, but in operation it is just reverse, and the spring stiffness are different. So suction side has lower spring stiffness as compared to discharge one. Also, when we use new spare parts, the number parts, so okay, these are precautionary things that are given up. When opened up, the suction valve are found to be in clean condition, while the discharge valve would have some degree of carbonization. In case a valve is opened up and some parts are found to be broken, all the broken parts must be located to avoid any further damage to the machine. An exploded view of the compressor valve I showed you there. Now you take. Now the procedure, I have described it from the very beginning. If you tell all these procedures, they are very simple and self-understood. Take permit with electrical permit or work permit from chief engineer. Shut the main air compressor. Shut main circuit breaker. MCB it should be, main circuit breaker. Sorry. Uh, Remove fuse. Use tag out and lockout. Lotto. Shut air valve drain, jacket water. Make sure compressor is fully depressurized. You must depressurize the compressor. This is very important steps. If you don't miss it. Remove cage carefully. Take out valve with your hand of first stage and second stage, and take it to the workshop. We do it in the workshop only altogether. Remove the carbon deposits. Now remove the split pin and open the castle nut. I showed you in the diagram. This is the split pin and the castle nut. Now you see here, this is the split pin and this is the castle nut. So first of all we remove the split pin and then the castle nut. Okay, dismantle all the parts and soak in kerosene or clean diesel oil. So that is the only thing that is binding it. So once you remove the split pin and castle nut, the whole parts, this buffer spring, all those, everything will get removed. Okay, clean all the parts with soft brush. In case of a hard deposit, a copper plate of washer can be used for the scraping action. Check the valve plate and the valve seat for any damage and cracks. If any signs of fatigue, cracks on the valve plates are present, then the valve plate must be replaced with new one. The valve plate must never be turned over and used, as it can lead to fatigue failure. The valve plate and the valve seat must be separately lapped on a surface plate using fine and extra fine grinding paste, that is lapping paste we use with figure of 8. We make a figure of 8. Okay, we do like this. Okay, we don't do lap like this straight ones or like one or horizontal. The valve plate and the valve seat must be separately lapped on a surface plate using fine and extra fine grinding paste with figure of 8. Thereafter, all the past parts must be washed with diesel and cleaned with compressed air. Check condition of spring. Replace if badly corroded. I showed you in the diagram. The valve should then be assembled with the lapped surface of the valve plate and the valve seat facing each other. After the assembly of the valve, the operation of the valve should be checked by a soft wooden stick. Okay, so I hope all these steps are clear. These are self-explanatory. There is no rocket science in this. Now, there comes a second aspect is of leak test. After the overhaul, the valve have to be checked for leakage. Okay, the space above the valve plate should be filled up with water or light oil like kerosene. Okay, if after a few minutes no drop in level or leakage is there, then the valve is satisfactory for the use. Put gasket of same thickness, put cage, turn compressor with your hand to make sure everything is fine. While installing, care should be taken to avoid the interchange of suction and discharge valve. This is the another important question, and as it could lead to the explosion due to over pressurization of compressor chamber. If we interchange suction and discharge valve, what will happen? What are the constructional difference between suction and discharge valve? I told you in operation it is reverse, and about the spring stiffness, that is spring constant, are different. And if we interchange, what is going to happen is this is the reason, and how we do leak test and what is the procedure by which we overhaul this valve. These are then, and I have shown you the diagrammatic representation of all together all the parts of the valve altogether. Okay, so this is in a nutshell that we could discuss here today, and so I hope it is clear for you. I am only here to give you an idea to how to present your answer in the oral. I'm not taking a class, okay, because these things you know, these things you must have studied. So I just make notes and I just read it for you so that you just grab and you just recall so that it becomes presentable for you in the oral. Thank you so much. Thank you for your valuable time. And I will also like to say that I have already covered a video on difference between main air compressor and reefer compressor. You can watch that, and how to take bumping clearance. Okay, so that video also you can watch. Thank you so much. All the best.